Here we have another quick tip. In this quick tip we're going to be taking a look at how we can automate UVs but straighten them out. So this is a better example of showing how you could take something that would be really time consuming. So imagine being given this mesh and having the task of laying out all the UVs on this. Now you can see, like, I've deliberately created this mesh on purpose to make everything, you know, really random, jagged, irregular, and difficult to lay out UVs. You've got several different pieces, different directions, angles, etc. So this would be quite difficult to lay out UVs on, but we're going to take a look at a process of how we can automate that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to first use a similar process as what we've done before. So we're going to use a for each loop to iterate over each one of the connected pieces here. Okay, so first of all, we've used a connectivity sub here, you can see, and it's got a class attribute which is going to be used for this for each. Okay, so just imagine we've got this first section and we've got a piece of mesh and it's kind of got all these crazy angles in here, like you can see. Okay, we need to lay these out. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use a bit of a process to smooth these UVs, store the position, and then move it back into the original position. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to store the position originally in a rest attribute, which is here, of all the original points on this. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to smooth this. So essentially it's going to be smoothed out just so it's a much straighter shape. Okay, and that makes it a lot easier for us then to straighten these UVs out. Okay, so we're doing that there, we're smoothing these out. Okay, what we're going to do then is automatically create some seams. Now we can create seams on this model using the auto seams node. It's just down here. Let me just select this, so you can see we've got this UV auto seams and this UV flatten here, and what this is going to do is going to create seams using some tolerance settings. So we can adjust the settings and then automatically create a seam, you know, that's going to create a seam around the top and all the way down the edge to unwrap this in the way that we want to, really. Okay, that seam's going to be used then in the UV flatten here, and it's going to use that seam. It needs to use that seam to be able to unfold it in the correct way. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to smooth, then once it's unflattened we're going to use the UV smooth, which is going to try and give us like the flattest looking UVs we can. Now there are a lot more things that we can do to get perfect UVs, but for this example, going from where we started to where we're going to finish is more than acceptable, and it's fine for what I needed. Okay, so that once we've done that, we've prepared the UVs, we're then going to use this position attribute we stored before to then move all these points here back into the original position, which is going to then generate the original mesh shape that you can see over on this side here. Okay, so that's essentially the process. So I'm just going to quickly walk through the steps of that. Okay, so you can see we've got this for each loop here. Just going to activate it here. We're storing the rest for that, which is we're storing this position here, which is the position of the points. You can do that in a wrangle using @p and just store that as an attribute. Okay, we're smoothing those. So we're smoothing those there. You can see. Let me just activate this. It'll be easy to see here. Okay, so we've got this rest here, storing the position, smoothing the UVs out here, creating some auto seams. So you can see if I select the tool there, you can see we've created an automatic seam all the way down the edge of the mesh there. We're then flattening out the UVs. Okay, so you can see down here we've flattened the UVs here. Now they are a little bit irregular, so we're using the UV smooth again just to kind of smooth and straighten these out just a little bit more. Okay, and then we're using this attribute wrangle here, which is resetting the position back to the original position of the points using the position stored in rest, setting it to the position attribute. Okay, so if I just activate that, then you can see we've set the UVs and then restoring the original position of all these points. And then all the process is just iterating over each one of the individual pieces in turn as we go through. And then once we iterated over each one of the individual pieces, we use a UV layout here to arrange everything back to where it should be. So if I just uncheck single pass, you should then be able to see everything being straightened out and then packed nicely into one tile.